All right, thanks everybody for joining again to another AMA. Today I'm doing it from my home in Long Island, all the way almost to the tip of Long Island, as close to England as you can get. Uh, and I hope everybody's safe and healthy. Looks like summer is here, so definitely is going to help us with fighting this corona disease. And I wanted to share with you my thoughts on the opportunities, the good side of this kind of colossal earthquake that we went through with the coronavirus, right? I mean, everybody's looking at the negative side, all the people are going to get hurt. But once every 50 or 100 years, the world does go through an earthquake like this. And usually it also represents a big opportunity. And most people don't see the opportunity. They only see the downside. They say, oh my God, look how many people are going to be out of a job. It's not going to come back. We're going to have a recession or a depression. But what it really represents also is a shift, right? As all of us kind of hunker at home, work from home, spend more time with our family and everything else, a part of it is also a very big shift in what people need and what people are going to be doing in the future. And what's most important about that is the order of the world is going from things that had to do with contact to things that had to do with no contact, right? So if you were in airline business or hotel business or food restaurant business or anything that had to do with physical delivery of physical service, all those things are going to shrink. And anything that could be done electronically or online is going to do very well. And that's why you're seeing companies like Zoom and financial services and other things do very well, while obviously hotels, airlines, and others are not doing well. And the way it relates to you is that your skills, the things you used to do before Corona hit, and used to do them because you had to make a living and because you had to pay a mortgage and everything else. Normally, about 70% of us are not using really the skills that we're good at, right? We had to do a job, we had to make a living, but now there's a reset of what is needed out there, right? And because of that reset, you have an opportunity to reset as well. So if you can really find out what you're really good at, and that skill set is in need today, you will be making 2, 3, 5 times more money than you made before. You will be doing much better, right? So the repositioning of who you are, what you do, what are you really good at, and is that skill set needed in the new world is the most important thing, right? Now, it's very, very hard for most people to reset, let go of the past, forget about the career or whatever you studied in college or whatever you've done for 15 or 20 years and start anew, right? But that is a skill I have perfected. If you look at my career, you will see I jump from one industry to the next every 5 or 10 years because I saw an opportunity somewhere else, right? And this is the largest reset I've seen since the internet was born in the early 90s. So this is a perfect opportunity to start anew and really dig into yourself, find out what you're really good at. What are the skill sets that you have? Each one of us is the best in the world at something. But most of us don't get to discover that. Most of us don't get to find out what is that skill set that I have that is much better than anyone else. So you need to take the next few weeks to really think hard about your past and about your future and decide what are those things? What can I do? For example, what we do in Celsius is something that everybody needs. Everybody needs to make more money on their money. Everybody needs to have savings. Everybody, and we can deliver that through the blockchain to 7 billion people on the planet. And that's why our services are doubled. The number of people signing up with Celsius doubled since March. Twice as many people are being added every day into the Celsius service. And that is because we're delivering something that everybody needs, right? And so I'm inviting all of you not just to benefit through using Celsius, but also think about your career, about your path, about your future, and see how you become the best of you, the best of what you can be because of what happened, not despite of what happened, but taking advantage of that. Okay, so I'm challenging you to do that and to find everything is going to have to be reinvented. Everything, how we do things, the supply chain, everything is going to be reinvented. right? How we finance it, how do we deliver it, everything. So, and all those things, when there's a shift, when there's a giant shift, that always represents an opportunity for many people to jump in the front of the line, right? You're going to be one of the pioneers. You're going to be one of the trailblazers, discovering, delivering a new way of doing things, a new service that is needed today that was not needed just 3 months ago. So I'll pause here and want to talk to you guys about a few very exciting things that we've done. As you've seen, we've launched 1% loans. We charge 1% per year on loans with 25% LTV. We capped it at $10 million. We already have over 1 million. I think we launched it yesterday. There's already 1 million in applications that came in. But don't wait. If you need a cheap loan, we're doing it for you. We're doing it to make your life a little bit easier with what we can. And our commitment was to basically issue $10 million worth of loan at almost zero, right? 1%. You can't get that anywhere. So also we launched New York State, so you can deposit Bitcoin and earn interest. You can take a loan, which was not available before, and invite all of you and all of our New Yorkers who've been waiting for a long time to come and join us and benefit from the Celsius services. We launched Tether Gold. Again, if you want to diversify, if you think that what the Fed is doing and what the government is doing, printing trillions of dollars, is going to harm the dollar, is going to harm your standard of living, you need to attach yourself at least 5 or 10% to a non-correlated asset. And one basket is Bitcoin, Ethereum, and so on, and another basket is gold, silver, and so on. So we have one product there. If you don't like our product, great, go buy some gold somewhere else. Buy GLD, doesn't matter. My point to you is you need anchors outside of your safety zone, because your stocks, your bonds, your real estate are all dollar denominated. And if the dollar crashes, all these assets crash with it. Bitcoin, gold are in a completely different universe. They're not attached, they're not denominated in dollars. Everything else is. All right, so what else did we do?
We have the swag store.
That's right, we have a store. And I want to talk about it because Kim did an amazing job bringing back to life the store and putting a lot of new products there. And we invite all of you guys to tell us what you want. You like these shirts? You like other shirts? You want, we're doing coins, we're doing all kind of other swag. Tell it to Kim. And the biggest secret about the store is that 80% of the profits in the store go to, who do you think they go to? They're not going to go to me. 80% of the profits in the store, after we pay the guys who printed the shirts and we pay the guys who shipped it or whatever, go back to the community as profit. Okay, so when we publish our numbers, when we tell you how much we distribute each week, we're going to have a new line that says store, and if you're buying something from the store, you're helping everyone in the community. Like that. All right, so what else? Did we miss anything else? All right, let's go. Let's start with the questions. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of them, so we'll give a little bit more time for the question.
We have a lot coming through today. So the first question is from Leonard. He says, hi, I would like to understand what exactly the CEL token represents in terms of its utility. Is it transaction speed? Is it transaction cost? Things like that.
So you have to think of CEL token as a thermometer, Celsius thermometer. You got it? Actually, I used to say barometer, but Ashley corrected me and said, it's a thermometer, Alex, come on. So CEL token is a thermometer of the Celsius community. If the Celsius community is growing, if the Celsius community is depositing more assets, if Celsius is delivering more loans, if Celsius is earning more money, the price of CEL goes up because it represents a balance between supply and demand. If people are comfortable, they're confident that we are doing what we promised, that we're acting in the best interest of the community, they will be accumulating more CEL. Partially because they want to earn more, that's part of the utility. Partially because it's yielding 5%, so sometimes I just want to earn 5% on my assets. And partially because they want to support the community, right? So on our website, there are 7 other utilities that are listed, and you can go and look at all of them. And we're looking to add more utilities. So people said, hey, how come I can't pay bills with the cell token? How come I can't do other things? We want to add all these things, right? We're just working in the progress. We're doing things in a serial fashion. You're seeing us launching big new services almost every week now, big announcements, big partnerships, a lot of other stuff is coming. And the cell token is the anchor of Celsius, because our treasury, most of the assets that Celsius has are actually cell tokens, right? Celsius has something like 300 million cell token in treasury, right? We issued about 700 million, we sold about 300 million, and we kept about 300 million treasury, right? So the price of cell token is extremely important to us, because as we want to grow this community, as we want to basically include 7 billion people in the service, it's very important that we use our treasury, use our main asset, which, by the way, many of our competitors don't have, as a fuel, as a tool to deliver more value to the community. So when you see us publishing a rate of whatever, let's say 8% for stable coins, but it's 11% for the platinum token holders, right? That is basically saying we're gonna give the guys who hold a lot of cell token more. And any one of you can become it's a percentage of your holding, right? If 15% of your AUM is in cell token, meaning if you have $100 and you have $15 worth of cell token, you are platinum. It has nothing to do with having millions of dollars. Everybody's talking about the top 100 and this and that, but platinum has to do with the ratio between what did you deposit with us and how much cell do you have. And if all of us hodl, and 80% of the cell token that we give every week stays in the app, the hodlers keep that cell token. They don't sell it. They take the interest, like me, right? They take the interest and they keep it. Don't distribute it. Don't sell it. Accumulate it, right? Hodl. I should have wore the hodl shirt.
But we'll have that really, for next week.
But that's really the main purpose. We have several Medium posts that we also had. They're all listed on this. There are links on our website, so go ahead, look it up, and please educate others. I mean, other people, a lot of people want to know what it is. A lot of people are tired of reading, so if you want to do a video about it and explain it better than me, go ahead. We'll link to you. Our new thing will be linking. If you create a beautiful explanation of something, Celsius will link into your video and get people to come to you, and you can use your promo codes or your deep links that we provide as an affiliate to actually make money out of it, right? So go ahead, create great content, and we will send customers your way. Next question.
Yeah, definitely good. Get the community involved in video making. Okay, so next question I got from is Tilo. He says, is Celsius investing my funds responsibly? He said this is in regards to the environment, social, and governance.
Sure. So look, we want to take as little risk as possible. Like I said many times, priority number one is to return your coils, and priority number two is to remember rule number one, right? So we were the ultimate test of are we risk-taking or not risk-taking was on March 12th. On March 12th, Bitcoin crashed 50%. And a lot of funds, a lot of people got hurt really, really bad. Celsius, like I said, had 0 liquidations on the institutional side. All the institutions that borrow coins from us, for whom there was huge movement, right? They either lost a lot of money or they made a lot of money, but none of them has defaulted. So that tells you that Celsius done an exceptional job. And credit goes not to me, credit goes to Patrick and Harumi and other people who are working on this every day, Asaf and others who are working on risk management every day, making sure that we're only lending to the safest of institutions. And Celsius works with about 260 institutions, but the top institution, the guys we give the most coins to, are the safest one. I can tell you that our competitors are lending coins unsecured, meaning they're not taking any collateral, right? We don't do anything like that. We always require collateral. We always have something that we hold to make sure that the institution on the other side, we're not just relying on their goodwill. We have an asset that they want to come back and claim, so we get our coins back, or your coins back, actually. Next question.
The next question is from Simon. He says, Alex, you're an amazing leader for Celsius, but what happens in the unfortunate event where you're unable to work? What will happen to Celsius?
Celsius now has, I think, 70 people. We're hiring another 5 or 10. So we're going to have close, by the end of this year, we'll have probably over 100 people. if this organization is relying on me to survive or to perform, then I've done something wrong. I mean, the whole point about this organization is that it has the principle, it has the foundation, and it can perform everything that we're doing on its own. I don't lend coins. I don't interact and help people every day. We have, again, dedicated people who work 7 days a week, like Tom here, right? Who works basically 7 days a week. I make him work around the clock. But we're all passionate about this. So when you're passionate about something, you're not really working a day in your life. You're excited. You wake up in the morning, you're like, can I do more work? Let's go. Let's change the world. So I am delegating as much as I can, and I jump in only when I think I can help and do things better. But I can tell you, we have probably the most competent team in crypto, because we're growing the fastest. We have the most AUM and users and so on, and all of that is a result of our team doing their job. It's not like Alex doing everything. Next question.
So the next question comes through from Isaac. He says, if the Ethereum network were to get hacked or fail, how would that affect the Celsius network and users' funds?
So the Ethereum network failing will cause a lot of pain, but it's not. It will cause pain to people who hold assets in Ethereum, in ETH, right? Because if somebody hacked ETH, which happened before, right? I mean, we had a fork and all that stuff. The ETH value may drop, but that will have nothing to do with Bitcoin, nothing to do with the 25 other coins that we have in the wallet. So I don't see a situation where a hack will bring down all of crypto, right? So Bitcoin, why is Bitcoin the safest? Bitcoin has 11-year track record, longer than anyone else, right? In proving that no one can hack it. And the bounty, the price on hacking Bitcoin is $200 billion. It's a huge bounty, right? There's no higher bounty for a hacker than hacking Bitcoin. So the fact that no one hacked it gives me a lot of confidence that this is something that is here to stay, and it's something that is not going to get hammered. Now, is Ethereum half as reliable, a third, a quarter? The time acts here in a linear way. It's not in logarithmic way. It's not a linear way, right? Why is it logarithmic? Because the complexity of delivering all of the hash power, right, and making the change longer and longer. I see the birds are joining us here, but delivering a longer and longer chain, a chain that is twice as long, is not 2 times as safe. It's actually 10 or 20 times as safe, because the complexity of breaking that chain and going back is harder and harder and harder in a logarithmic scale. Next question.
Yeah, what Celsius didn't know is that you're actually a Disney princess, Alex. So the
Yeah,
next
right.
question, next question is from Ethan. He says, "How does JP Morgan banking, Coinbase, and Gemini change anything? Why did they need JP Morgan?"
So look, we use banks as well. We bank with Signature Bank. We bank with Wells Fargo. We bank with other banks. Like the banks love taking deposits, and all Coinbase and Gemini did is basically open another account with a #1 bank in the United States, right? The largest bank in the United States. But it does not mean in any way that JP Morgan or Jamie Dimon are much more friendly towards crypto, right? So the banks need deposits, and these companies got big enough to the point where even JP Morgan had to say, fine, I need your deposits. I need to take your deposits because now they're sitting with my competitor, and I want to bring them over to my treasury so I can make money on that money, right? So it does not mean anything from JP Morgan entering the crypto world or becoming friendly to the crypto world. Next question.
The next question come through is from Otis. He says, on the top 100 holder list, we know you're on there, Alex, as #1. How many of the other team members are in position 2 to 6, if there are any?
Yeah, so I think at least 20 of our employees are in the top 100, I know Daniel is number 2 on that list. I don't know if he wanted me to disclose it or not. And Nook is in our top 5, so I'm not going to give his exact position. And by the way, we have a bug there. My number of tokens has not changed in many weeks. I do accumulate interest. It is being added, but for some reason it didn't update. I'm the only one who's not. Actually, me, Daniel, and Nook are not updating. So if you want to figure out who are me, Daniel, and Nook, you'll see those are the numbers that don't change. But we will update the balances. Wasim promised me he's going to update the balances and put the new balance. We're just going to do it once a month or whatever. So we earn interest on our tokens, and we don't sell them. It's in there. You're going to see the balances updated in the next few days.
Cool. The next follow-on question is actually from Otis as well. He says, you mentioned you're the biggest equity holder of Celsius. Can you please explain the equity side of Celsius versus just sell hodling?
Sure, great question. So Daniel and I, Daniel, my co-founder, right, own a very large chunk of the company. We have an allocation for employees. So employees have about 12 or 13% besides me and Daniel, right? And now we're doing a round of funding. So we are raising equity capital. We are going to give an allocation to the community as well. So we're going to allow the community to come in and participate in the equity round. We're working out the details. And we hope that something like something between 7 and 8% of the total equity will be with the community in equity. So you could be holding Cell token, you could be holding equity, and participating in Celsius both ways. Again, the structure is done this way. I have obviously a lot of Cell token and I have a lot of equity. And that's why it doesn't matter if I'm siding with the community every day. Why? Because when I distribute 80% to the community, instead of taking it and siphoning it off as profits to me and Daniel, we don't feel the pain at all because we are also the biggest guy on the other side, right? So we structured it from day one in a way that has zero conflict with the rest of the community, right? Because what mostly happens, like if you look at some of our competitors or VC backed or have very large Wall Street investors, they have to decide when they earn money, do they give it to the community or do they give it back to their shareholders? And Coinbase and people like that always give it back to their shareholders, right? Celsius is forcing anyone in this business, anyone, to give more to the community. Why? Because if you're giving less than Celsius, you won't be able to compete, right? You're going to be out of business very, very quickly. So that's why you're seeing everybody trying to match or top our rates, but it's very hard. If I'm already giving 80%, you have to give 90 to compete with us, right? And most of our competitors don't earn that money. They don't have 260 institutions. They don't have 600 million in assets that they're managing and so on. Next question.
The next question that came through is from Sean.
I'm going to move to the shade. I think it's too, what do you call it? It's got a little too hot in here. So I'm going to move in the shade here.
It's all right. Looks beautiful over there. You're good, mate. So the next question comes through. It's a nice, you have very nice houses, Alex. The next question comes through from Sean. Does Celsius have any goals regarding environmental impacts of their business? And are we taking steps such as carbon offsets or similar eco-friendly initiatives?
Yeah, so look, I'm very not happy that mining today for proof of work is a very energy consuming process that actually mining worldwide consumes more than the entire country of Switzerland. So that is not moving in the right direction, right? That's why I'm a big proponent of moving to proof of work, from proof of work to proof of stake, and moving to other type of any other type of consensus, right? So we ourselves don't have a specific initiative about climate change, but personally, I'm a very big supporter of I've done a lot of work in the space, wireless charging and distribution of electricity and all kind of other things that are actually being used today by many different companies to help both create electricity as well as distribute electricity with much less impact to the planet. But currently, we're not doing anything in Celsius that I can tell you proudly here. This is what we're doing for the planet. Next question.
It's a good goal for us. We'll come up with something for the community. So the next question comes from Soren. I like this one. It's
100
theoretical.
million users first, then we can focus on helping the planet. When we cross that goal, we're at 100,000. We just crossed 100,000 registered users, right? So when
Yes,
we
we
get to
did.
100 million, we can talk about that.
When we get to 100 million, then we'll do 100 million trees.
Exactly.
So the next question comes through is from Soren. He said, let's assume all 21 million Bitcoin are mined and everyone is hodling their Bitcoin at Celsius. What would the business model look like then?
So think about it this way. If you're sitting on all the reserves in the world, let's say the United States had all the gold reserves in the world, then everybody wants to borrow from you, right? So the US dollar has something like maybe 10% in reserves in gold, right? 90% of the gold, 90% of the dollar is just a floating spreadsheet entry by the Fed, right? So if you have all these assets and the value of Bitcoin has gone up dramatically, you can do many activities because you can borrow against the asset, you can make investments, you can do a lot of other stuff. The game, I know a lot of people are worried about, oh, what happens if you get too big? The game doesn't end, right? I mean, the game just changes. So maybe obviously we won't be able to lend out all of the Bitcoin, but we are using a lot of Bitcoin as collateral to borrow dollars, for example. This $10 million that we are lending to the community at 1%, a lot of it is coming because we are giving people Bitcoin as collateral, and we're taking dollars so we can lend them to you at 1%. And that's probably not a very profitable business for us, but we want to help the community, right? So we're doing well enough in other businesses that we can take this action and help our community, because a lot of our users can't go to the bank, they can't go to their government, they can't go to their community, right? They're not going to get hurt. So we wanted to do something. We took an allocation of 10 million, and that's an example of how we're using Bitcoin to create dollars, right? Because we're borrowing those dollars and then we're lending them out to the community. Next question.
So the next question to come through is from George. He says, I have a hardware wallet. I would prefer to retain some access to my private keys as opposed to having your company maintain full custody in case of, I love this, nefarious events. Have you considered a similar solution to staking for specific periods of times by placing coins in escrow?
So look, I love DeFi. I love staking. It's not like I'm against any of those things. Those things are currently yielding less, and they require a lot of development for us, because even though we have staking like Dash and EOS and others, and we're going to be adding more and more staking coins, to provide a full DeFi type of staking and making it that service be accretive to the community is still a big problem. And we've seen that in March and April, right? We've seen the DeFi community going through a lot of sparks and problems because those protocols are not mature enough. Most people tell me, oh, DeFi is much safer. I'm like, really? That code is like as fresh as a loaf of bread. Okay, it's like that is not a place where I feel comfortable jumping in and putting my assets in. So you need some maturity. That's what we were talking about. Bitcoin being the safest, then a bunch of other XRP, Ethereum, they're kind of in line with that because they came after. But most DeFi protocols are months old. Some of them are just a few months old. They're baby, So I want to see some stability there. I want to see some reliability. I want to see it scaling. Again, they failed when they added a lot of assets, right? They had a tremendous amount of liquidations. They had hacks. They had all kind of other stuff. And I'm not saying it in a negative way. I want all these projects to succeed. I'm cheering for Maker, for Compound, for all of these projects. But when they deliver, we're going to encapsulate them and provide them as services inside Celsius. Today, I don't feel comfortable putting these projects in, right, as a pass-through, basically enabling you to take, hold your coins in Celsius and say, put 10% in Compound, right, and give me all that benefit. Put it in a smart contract and make sure it's not being liquidated automatically. You have my assets, you do all of the liquidation stuff, right? That's a beautiful service. I love that. I want to deliver it to everyone in the community. But if I don't feel safe, or my team doesn't feel safe that these protocols are mature enough, and you lose all your money there, you're going to come to me and say, hey, Alex, even though you don't give me financial advice, why did you add it to the wallet, right? So we are getting closer, but we're not there yet. And those are great teams. Believe me, I spend time with the Maker team, okay? And they're great teams. There's nothing wrong with that project. They just need time to fix the issues that they have. Next question.
So the next question comes from Paul. I like this question. What are the two biggest risks for Celsius right now?
So look, if there's no mass adoption, our model does not scale, right? Our model works if we have 100 million users. It does not work if we have 100,000 users. Right now, we are exerting tremendous amount of energy. These, again, the 70 people that work at Celsius exert tremendous amount of energy to deliver the service, right? And we got to get to a scale where we can do more, have more developers, and basically we as an organization need to slow down because we're going to have 200 people instead of 70 people, right? And if we don't have the users, we can't do that, right? If we don't have 200,000, 500,000, a million users, 100 million users, we cannot earn the money to pay for those bills. Unlike, again, some of our competitors, we don't burn investors' money, right? We have to earn the money, give you 80%, and use the 20% to deliver everything you're asking from us every day. And believe me, go on our Telegram channel. There's 50 requests every few hours that saying, why can't you do this? And why don't you add that? And I don't like the shirt. I don't like the coin. And what? Everything related to everything. Everybody has an opinion, which is great. We love that. But, you know, I can't deliver on 90% of that because I just don't have the funds. And part of us raising capital is to accelerate us to get there as well. Next question.
So the next question that came through is from Marco. He says, Dear Alex, where do you see Celsius in a year from now?
So we hope to have something between 30 and 35 coins. We are adding a few really exciting coins that I know people will be really excited when we announce them. So it's coming in the next few weeks. You'll hear very strong communities around these coins. So a lot of people are going to be really happy about that. Some controversial coins. So, you know, I see people people are cheering for BSV. People are against BSV. We don't pick losers and winners. We don't decide, oh, BSV is a bad coin, we're not going to add it. Our only question is, can we earn yield, and are our users at risk if we add this asset, right? These are the only two questions we ask ourselves. So Pax Gold, I love Pax Gold. I spent a lot of time with Paxos. I know that team from the last 2 or 3 years. We have to come up with a way to earn yield on Pax Gold. We just don't have it. So, you know, we reached out several times, including this week, reached out to the CEO of Paxos, asking him to solve a few problems for us, right? A few things that we stuck at. They're working at the problem. And obviously the Tether Gold team has gone to the finish line first. They managed to solve all the issues and get there first. That's why we launched them first. We had Paxos in the coming soon before we even start talking to Tether Gold. So Paxos has to deliver solutions for us. It's the ball is in their court right now. And the minute they solve it, we will be listing it and adding it in. Believe me, there's no issue there. So BSV is coming as well. Again, I know there's some haters for BSV, but that's not the issue. The issue is, are the BSV holders going to earn yield or not? Do you want them to join the revolution, make our community bigger? Or just because they love BSV, you hate them and you rather work with a bank than have BSV guys sitting next to you in the bus, right? So come on, let's all be mature adults and figure out, you know, the banks are not your friends, and anyone who's already in the crypto community is our ally, right? It doesn't matter which project they're cheering for. Next question.
So the next question to come through is from Andel. He says, currently the number of users Celsius is adding is increasing by 600 per day. If we take this rate and calculate number of users by the end of the year, it will be 220,000. What's your prediction?
It's accelerating. I think it will be higher than that. What we're seeing is that we had a nice growth and then it just took off. COVID doubled the registration, right? So we went from this to this, right? And we're not seeing it slowing down. Now we also launched some amazing partnerships. Many people didn't pay any attention to it. Mode in the UK. It's an app that allows you to earn yield and deposit coins and have a bank account. Same thing with Bitwala in Germany. These are huge partnerships. These people are bringing in hundreds and hundreds of new users, right? So every day. So we're launching more and more and more of these. And I promised that we're going to be launching a bunch of these. and people were like, what are you talking about? We haven't seen anything. People underestimate how big these partnerships are, right? And we're going to announce a few more. But I think to date, again, the team is not disappointed. We have a new release almost every month. We're adding new features, capabilities. People ask for a desktop version. There's going to be a desktop version. You know, I saw a demo of it today, and I love it. We just got to finish all the security stuff and so on. It's more for the institutions, but it's coming soon. Next question.
So I actually just got a message through from the marketing team. We are 17 people away from 100,000. So guys, get sharing your links, referral codes. I want those 17s done by the end of this AMA.
That's right. Yeah, share some codes.
So this question came through from Kanchilla. Sorry if I got your name wrong there. Who owns and controls Celsius? How is it formed as an entity, and how is it governed?
So Celsius Network is a UK company. We're registered in the company house. We filed our basically, you know, everything that we had to file. We're in good standing. Like I said, Daniel and I are the majority shareholders. After we do the raise, we're still going to be the majority shareholders, and that is probably not going to change anytime soon. But we have a board. We have a normal. We operate like any other company, right? We have all the procedures and checks and balances and committees and everything else that you need. And even though we're not regulated, we're not a regulated financial institutions. In many ways, we act like one, right? Because we think that down the line, sooner or later, you know, this industry is going to be regulated, and we want to be ready for it. We don't want to change anything when that comes. And you can see we avoided a lot of trouble, while a lot of other projects and ICOs got into trouble or are being investigated. To date, we don't have any inquiries or requests or subpoenas or anything from any government or any institution that have oversight. And anyone who did request stuff from us received it. But we have opinion letters from lawyers telling us that everything we do is proper, and it's very important for us, because just like we don't want a bad apple coming into the community, right? Somebody who didn't pass KYC coming in and causing problems, because then the regulators will come and say, hey, here's a bad guy, you let him in, I'm shutting you down, right? You don't want that. Same way, you don't want to cross the line on the legal front, because when you cross the line, you're endangering the entire community. You're endangering the business because you're operating illegally in this and that country. And I can tell you that there are inquiries into some of our competitors because they are operating without, you know, they did cross the line many times, right? And we don't want that to happen to the Celsius community. We want the Celsius community to be 100 years old and not have any scratches or blemishes or anything like that. So the safety, I'm much more concerned about this question, than I am about, are they going to hack Ethereum, right? That is, because I can't control that. I cannot control what's going to happen to Ethereum, but I can definitely control how is Celsius behaving, what are we doing. Next question.
Next question to come through is from James. He says, Alex, in your opinion, is the community growing at a pleasing rate, or do you worry adoption is too slow?
It's growing just right. If we had 10 million users join us tomorrow, we would have a lot of issues, because we just don't have enough people, we don't have enough infrastructure, and we would not be ready for that. So if only 10 or 20 people joined every day, it wouldn't be enough, right? So just like the Earth is just in the right place in the solar system, not too cold, not too hot, beautiful day outside, right? We're enjoying the sun. We need to have just the right trajectory, right? And we are actually regulating that. Our business development team has hundreds of people that are standing in line saying, hey, me next, turn me on, right? And we are not turning them fast or slow. We're turning them just right to make sure that we can handle all the issues. We are still, even right now, the only company with full APIs. So partners like Bitwala and Mode and others, and Monarch and Infinita and all these guys can launch with us, right? Provide you interest income in their wallet or in their desktop or in their app, and it's powered by Celsius. But if we wanted to launch 100 of these guys tomorrow, we wouldn't be able to support them. So we are scaling the stuff, and that's what I'm saying. I think you're going to see an acceleration because we are now, I've been running it now for the APIs now for over a year. Everything is clean. We've scaled it, and you can see the acceleration in the Celsius community. Next question.
So the next question to come through is from Leonard. He says, would Celsius consider accepting tokenized version of Bitcoin? His example here is WBTC, so wrapped Bitcoin.
Yeah. So again, it's a new product. It has its own issues, and we have to really understand it, see that it's stable, see what the demand is from institutions. We want to make sure that there's no situation where we accept something and then no one shows up, crickets, right? We don't want that. We don't. So our job is to focus our resources on things that deliver value for you, for the community. Because if we don't deliver value, we can't raise the rates. We cannot add more members. We cannot turn on other partners. So it's a good product. I like it. It's something that will be useful, but we need to see that it's safe, it's scalable, and how it performs in under conditions, right? These severe conditions. So you can see we are not the risk takers. We actually are the slowest ones to do things. Yes, we're innovators, but we're not the risk takers. Next question.
The next question is from Ivan. He says, what is your biggest challenge right now?
To spend more time in this beautiful house. I don't get to spend any time here. I'm working around the clock. This is the first time I'm here since last year. So it's embarrassing. I have these beautiful Japanese pines here. It's like talking about the earth. I mean, these are like my favorites, right? Japanese pines that are just doing phenomenally well. And I care for all the grounds here. But no, I'm kidding. Look, I love what I'm doing. I love what I do every day. Did I kill the angle?
No, you're fine.
All right. The biggest challenge is for the crypto community to scale and to have more utility. I mean, you guys talked about the cell utility. I'm worried about the Bitcoin utility. I'm worried about Ethereum utility. Like one little stat that most people don't know, 80% of the daily volume on Ethereum is, what do you think creates 80% of the volume? Tether, USDT is 80% of the daily volume. All these people, all these guys bad-mouthing Tether, blah, 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 all these guys, you take that away, and none of these other projects can survive, because none of the other all the other projects put together cannot provide enough volume to keep Ethereum going, right? Half of the miners are going to have to leave if Tether disappears tomorrow. So Bitcoin store of value is a beautiful utility. Tether is a form of payment settlement on the Ethereum platform. Beautiful utility. Show me another one. Show me another success story in the crypto world, right? So we need more of these. Otherwise, we're 11 years old, going on 12, right? Where is the utility? All I see is volatility. Where is the utility? So we want to deliver interest income. I know a lot of people calling us lending. We're not lending. What we deliver for 90% of the people who are using us is interest income. Only 10% of the people are borrowing dollars, right? So we have 100,000 users and we have 260 institutions. Most of the transactions are between the institutions and the users. It's not between the users and the users, right? The users give us coin and 10% of the users take loan. That is a small part of our business. Most of our business is between the 100,000 depositors and the 260 institutions. Next question.
So I don't have a name attached for this one, but has there ever been discussion of moving Cell to the Tron blockchain?
No. We are talking to different exchanges about listing, and the volume is definitely concentrated with fewer and fewer exchanges. So it makes less and less sense to list with smaller exchanges out there. And the big exchanges are still asking for $500,000 for listing. I'd rather give you the $500,000 as weekly distributions than give it to some exchange just so I can put Cell somewhere. That's why we listed on 4 or 5 dexes. and we bypass all of that, right? You don't pay fees. You bypass all of these exchanges. They don't charge you withdrawal fees, all kind of other stuff. I prefer that method, at least for now. Next question.
Yeah, I buy all mine in the app now, which is nice and easy.
Yes.
The next question is from Eric. He says, will we ever see a 70% LTV? If not, why not?
Yeah, I love 70% LTV, and it's coming. We just have to finish a few more things, and you will have 70% LTV. It's actually pretty close. I mean, a few more things, and you will see it there. If you're an institution, you can come and get 70% today, right? So if you have good balance sheet, if you have a good track record, you can get a 70% LTV today. Next question.
So this is from Seth. He says, is it possible to buy fractions of Tether Gold?
Yes. So you will be able to do that in the app with your credit card, I think in a week. So just like you can buy sell token, you'll be able to buy a fraction of Tether Gold in a credit card and just say, I want to spend $50 or $100 or whatever. And we're creating a service. We're going to implement, like we said, with ACH and SEPA, where you'll be able to transfer money and buy gold as well. And whatever you want, the fraction of it, we will make sure that you get that. No fees, no withdrawal fees, no deposit fees, no transaction fees, and so on. So all that is coming. And again, I'm very excited about that. That's why I don't want to get distracted with 100 other requests. I want to launch these things, and then we can talk about other things.
So we do actually have one new request come through from the community, and it obviously doesn't have to be done now, but later on, would you be able to do an MTV style cribs tour of your house?
Sure. I'd love to do it. Actually, the bank is here. We can go and say hi to the bank if you guys want to do it. If we have a little bit of time, we might do it today. My wife will be like, "Oh my God, you didn't give me time to clean up the house," blah blah blah. But we'll do it. I'll go from the back and anyway, go ahead. Yes.
I love it, but I'm not getting in trouble with Chrissy. So Philip here asks, do you think XRP could ever reach 4% interest at some point?
Yes, I mean, again, the rates have to do with volatility, okay? Not how much we have on deposit or how high the price is or whatever. So when the coin is volatile, there is more opportunity for market making. Again, most of our institutions, remember the 100,000 depositors and the 260 institutions? The institutions want the coin when it's volatile, right? They're not doing shorting. They're doing market making. They're doing arbitrage. They're doing all kind of other stuff. So recently it was volatile. We raised the rate on XRP. Why did the rate went up, right? Same thing on Ethereum. Why did the rate went up? Why did the rate on Bitcoin? Huge volatility. Now, all of our competitors, same rate, death. No, at least we have a pulse, right? Every week we change the rate. Our competitors are like dead fish, Next.
The next questions come from Eugene. He says, I'm a developer on a crypto wallet. How easy is it to integrate with Celsius?
The API is on our website. Go click on it. It's all there. You can be live in a few days if you know what you're doing. So and we'll support you. We have a support team as well. So if you have questions, but go ahead. It's open to anyone.
Cool.
Next.
I love this next question. It's from Itor. I'm sorry if I got your name wrong. He says, I'm somewhat new to crypto and I was denied a PPP loan due to not having any credit. Would that affect a loan with you guys? And how exactly does this loan work? And for the 1% APR loan, is there a minimum loan amount?
We are not PPP. We are YYY. We say yes always. Everybody's approved. As long as you pass KYC, you're automatically approved for a loan. Automatically. Okay. We recently reduced the minimum from $3,000 to $1,500 to $1,000. So now you need at least $2,000 worth of Bitcoin or Ethereum or something else to take a $1,000 loan. Everybody's approved. And if you do a 25% LTV, right? So if you have $4,000 and you take a $1,000 loan, you'll pay 1% per year, right? Better than PPP. So in Celsius, everyone is approved. Next question.
So the question come through is from Ashwin. He says, Alex, how is the crypto market looking after the halvening?
Well, it's unfortunately, it's doing what I've said in the last AMA and some of my interviews. I said it's going to kiss 10,000 a few times. It's going to retreat, and then hopefully we'll break through it. Why? Because happening is not it's not like a hot knife through butter event. It's an accumulating event. Every day that goes by, right? More and more of the miners finish selling their lots. The guys are going out of business because they can't make money in the new environment. So that's a diminishing effect. And more people, if even the same number of people keep buying Bitcoin, but less and less supply and less miners selling inventory, you're going to get to the point where demand is greater than supply. But it's going to take a few weeks. So that's what we're seeing. It's going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down, right? Because every time it goes up, a few more miners are selling coins because they want to get out, right? They're finishing their inventory. They got to pay their bills, they got to sell their equipment. They're getting out of the business, right? Because they can't compete with the big boys who are spending billions of dollars building giant farms in Texas and in Iceland and in all kind of other places. So I still see new highs, meaning over $20,000 by the end of this year. So just be patient, hodl on.
We'll stay strong. So the next question comes through from Lucas. He says, I'm worrying about world recession. Can Celsius get through it without harm?
So we are non-correlated, our entire universe is non-correlated neither to the recession or to the US dollar or any fiat currency, right? So we are not even in the orbit of the earth, right? Or of the recession that is caused by all these things. And the proof for it, you don't have to believe me. We publish our numbers every day. Go to Celsius.com, you have visual charts that show you the acceleration. You can see everything is going like this. Why is that? It's not because we're spending more money on marketing. As I told you guys a few AMAs ago, we cut all marketing almost to zero, right? Because we took all the money we used to give to Google and Facebook and Amazon and everybody else, and we gave it back to you. We paid you all that money as more and more distribution, right? And what happened? We had an acceleration in new users, new deposits, and everything else. So because the acceleration has nothing to do with how much money we spend in marketing. It has everything to do with more people deciding as of March, as of Corona, as of the happening and so on, that they have to take a stake, they have to participate in this new universe, right? That is detached or uncorrelated to the dollar world. And that's why we're in the right place in the right time. It goes to the beginning of this AMA where I'm telling you, right? You have to detach yourself. It's not just enough that you parked a few dollars with Celsius. You have to re-examine, rethink about your career. Now is a great time, a perfect time, okay? To create a new career and become the best in the world at something. Because everything is being re-examined, everything. Doesn't matter what business you're in, it's being re-examined, and the winners are gonna be different tomorrow than the ones who won until now. Next question.
So the next question that came through is from Oren. He says, or she, which direction do you want Celsius to go in? Decentralized banking or crypto investing?
Well, I don't see it as one or the other, right? It's the world we're trying to create is the world that acts in your best interest. So the label, is it this label or that label, is not always capturing what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is make sure that this organization, right, is self-sufficient. It creates its own supply and demand. It creates its own earnings. And that all we're doing is we're sucking all the money out of the banking system, out of all these thieves. All these guys are stealing from you, right? We're sucking all the money from them and we're putting it in a place that acts in our best interest. Again, I've said this many times, but most people don't understand it. So I will say it again. When I did Voice of IP, which paid for this house, it's not crypto that paid for this house or the other house that you saw, okay? What paid for that house is Voice of IP, okay? And when I did it, it was very easy to convince people that paying AT&T $3 to call Tom in England, okay, it was lunacy, and that you could do the same call on the internet and it would cost you 10 cents a minute, right? So why? Because if you used it and it didn't work, you could always go back to British Telecom or AT&T or anyone else, or Cable and Wireless, these are the guys I used to work with, right? By the way, they sold all their buildings. right? In London, and AT&T sold their buildings in New York and so on. So what you have to understand is that we took the power from the phone companies. Everybody told me in the 90s, you can't take the power. They're the most profitable companies in the world. You cannot take the power from them. They're going to squash you like a little fly. But because all the people left the phone companies and joined VoIP, the companies themselves, these giants, be shriveled to nothing. Same thing with the bank. The most important thing most of you have to understand is the only reason the banks have power. The only reason. There's no other reason. It's not like there's a number 2, a number 3, and number 7. The only reason banks have power is because you, all of you, are giving them deposits every day. If you withdrew your money from the bank, they will have to shut down all their businesses, sell all their buildings. They won't be able to afford to pay themselves bonuses. The only way they make money is from the fact that they're paying you nothing for your money. You have to understand, when you withdraw $100 from the bank, because the bank is leveraged 10, 20, 50 to 1, they have to shut down $1,000 worth of loans. They have to. They don't have the money, right? Because they don't have the fractional reserves. So the power you have is 10 times, 50 times bigger than what you think, because you don't understand that the bank is leveraging the assets that you're giving them through fractional reserve, right? So you have 10 times the leverage, meaning I didn't have 10 times the leverage in VoIP. Here, all of us have tremendous leverage. And it was proven recently by the fact that JP Morgan bowed down to Coinbase and Gemini, right? Because they need those deposits. Because more and more people are withdrawing their dollars and buying gold or buying Bitcoin or buying everything else. And now the bank is starting to get nervous. They're like, shit, where am I going to get all these deposits from? Okay, all these guys we used to say no to, fine, take their money too, because we need more deposits. When you see Goldman Sachs maybe buying Wells Fargo, what is that? That's just saying, hey, they got a lot of deposit. I better merge with them before the party is over, before the music stops. So we have the power. We just don't know we have the power. Each one of you looks at yourself in the mirror and says, I have a measly $1,000. How do I have power? I have no power. No, you have $10,000 worth of power, $20,000, $1 million worth of power. So that's why we're going to win, because our game does not require anything from the banks or from the regulators or from anybody else. I tweeted about that recently. I said, if you don't like the game, and I was talking about Wall Street, if you don't like their game, create a new one. We created a new game. It's doing exceptionally well. Next question.
So Johnny is asking, what is the first word on your t-shirt?
Banks are not your friends. And Celsius is not a bank. Right?
We most certainly are not.
You can get this shirt on the website. If you go to our website and you click on the menu on top, the first menu on the left, there is a shop. Click on that. It's going to take you to celsius.network/shop. And you can buy any swag you want. And remember, when you buy a t-shirt, 80% of the profit goes back to all the other people in the community, including me, but everybody.
We're all equal here. So this is the final question. It comes through from Mike, and this is actually for you directly, Alex. What are your hobbies?
I have my kite surfing gear right there, which I haven't used in I don't know how long. It's painfully. Every day I walk around, I see this amazing wind. I'm like, when am I gonna get to the beach and do some kite surfing? I ride motorcycles, off-road motorcycles. Like what else do I do? I start companies. That's a hobby. And I have 6 kids. I have 6 hobbies right there. No time for hobbies. I'm fully booked for the next 50 years. But I enjoy every day. I gotta tell you guys, I can't wait to wake up in the morning and swing as hard as I can. And I never had a bigger target than the bank. So I'm very excited that I get this opportunity and that so many people are joining in. And we're gonna deliver. We're gonna deliver bigger than anyone is thinking, because all these naysayers, all these people who think that banks are your friends and that banks are too powerful to be taken down, don't understand that all that power is meaningless in a world where everybody's using a whole different protocol, right? So just like everybody moved from TDM, time division multiplexing, to TCP/IP, now everybody's moving from the banking system to the blockchain. The blockchain is it's triple entry accounting. Okay, it's a whole new protocol that did not exist ever in the history of humans. So the fact that banks are still big doesn't mean anything to who has the power, right? You guys have the power. You see, the banks don't create money. They don't earn the money. They don't go and labor or invent something or go to work every day, right? All they do is they take a deposit, lend them to somebody else, and keep 90% to themselves. All right, let's do a quick tour before my wife catches my what's happening. So that's my house. We did a lot of the renovations here not too long ago. That's my yard. The pool isn't open yet. The swing, the mandatory swing, which the kids use a lot, the outside shower. The roses are not blooming yet. I got some deer here as well. Han, if everybody wants to see the banks, I'm coming in.
You're telling her this is your idea.
Yes. Here is Ethan. Ethan, you're famous. You're on TV. You're on YouTube right now. Say hi. Everybody wants to know, what do? You painting? And huh? This is my living room. So you see a lot of Lego projects that my son has built. And fireplace, a backyard. And anyway, not gonna take you upstairs where we got 6 bedrooms and a lot of people here right now. All my kids are probably playing games or whatever. But thanks for joining me today and have taken the tour. Oh, here's Jordan. Come say hi. The mouse, remember the mouse? Here he is. Everybody wants to see the mouse. Anyway, thanks so much, and I'll see you next week, next Friday. Take care.